Hey, my name is James Nicholson. Welcome to this video. It's all about buy-to-let mortgages and what you should be doing right now with all the volatility in the market. Now, I'm an investor of 23 years, and this channel is all about my investment journey. I want to invite you along on that journey with me, and you can do that by subscribing over there. Now, on this channel, we're going to be talking about my investment journey, plus I'm building a portfolio for my two daughters, Georgia, who's 21, Emily, who's just 1. And we're currently building out that portfolio. Georgia, we've got 2 properties this year. You can see where we purchased those at auction, the refurbishments we did, and the refinancing, all on the videos on this channel that are already here. So do check those out. So do subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you in one of our future videos if you do that. Now, buy-to-let mortgages. There's a lot going on at the moment, right? There's wars in the world, which are obviously not nice for anybody. We've had a pandemic that has ended up with really crazy high inflation that we're trying to resolve. The UK government last week has just done some tax cuts which have plunged the value of the British pound. You see, investors and everyone out there doesn't maybe believe that they're doing the right thing, the British government. Now, I'm not going to comment either way. One thing I will say is I didn't think that they needed to reduce the tax for higher rate tax earners. I don't think any of those would have complained if it stayed as it was, but they did. And I don't know why that's going to stimulate the economy massively. One thing they did do was reduce stamp duty. Now, that will stop the market going down as much as it maybe could. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the market in the next few years, and neither do you. Nobody does. Even the Bank of England can't be 100% certain what's going to happen with the property market. But what we do know is that if you reduce the cost of buying a house, stamp duty is one of the most expensive parts of that, barring your deposit, then yeah, potentially that could be a very good thing, right? That we reduce that stamp duty and we keep the transactions going at least. And so what we want to happen in the market is maybe that it does start to slow down. Hopefully it doesn't crash. It might. But what we do want to happen, and we need to happen to keep people employed, is that transactions happen. So whether the market goes up, down or sideways, it doesn't really matter. We need people to be buying, we need people to be selling, because that keeps solicitors in business, that keeps painters and decorators and builders, estate agents. You need all these companies to keep a good economy going. So that's one thing that we need to happen, right? So buy-to-let mortgages are going to get a little bit harder to acquire. And so here's an example that I spoke to my broker today, right? And he was saying a guy that's remortgaging that's on a crazy good deal that's just ended is going to go from £300 a month payments to £700 a month. He only gets £800 rent, meaning he's going to make zero money, because after he's paid for insurance and voids and all these other little bits, he'll have zero money left in that deal. And so a lot of people are going to leave the market, landlords this is. And so that's particularly going to hit landlords hard that have not bought through a limited company, so they can't offset costs to reduce their tax burden. They're going to get hit really, really hard with these interest rate rises. Now, for new investors, that could be a good thing, because there's going to be some deals that you could buy from those landlords, helping them to get out of the difficult situation they're in, and then taking those deals on board and running them as your own through a limited company. Now, buy-to-let mortgages is what we really want to talk about here. And what should you be doing at the moment? Well, interest rates have risen at the time of recording this from 1.75 to 2.25. That's the base rate. Obviously, the banks will put their margin on top of that of 1 or 2%, right? So what that means is that deals are getting more expensive. And the Bank of England is being very clear that they believe that the interest rates will keep rising until next year, the end of 2023. So what would you be doing to be smart as an investor? Well, I would say that you should be fixing all deals that you can for 5 years. Why would you do that? Because you're going to get a slightly higher rate doing that rather than 2 years. You'd be doing that to give yourself the certainty that the deal is going to work. Look, the bank is only going to lend you money if your deal stacks up, if your rent is going to be high enough, the property is valued at the right price that they believe in. If they believe all of those things, then they're gonna lend you money. And so that's good. You can still continue to invest. And in fact, a lot of people are going to do very well investing throughout this period because other people are going to be more cautious. So when you take the deal on, you're not going to be able to get a buy-to-let mortgage unless it's a good deal anyway. So a lot of people make that presumption that the banks will lend to anyone. In fact, they're very strict on who they'll lend to. They're very strict on the deal being safe because at the end of the day, if the market crashes, you don't pay that mortgage back, they're the ones that lose out, not you. Well, you'll lose out. You might get a bad credit rating for a period of time, but they'll end up with an asset and lose tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds. So the bank is going to make sure that the deal stacks up, at least on paper. So buying now is a good thing. To continue to buy now is a good thing if it's a good deal, right? And so what I would say, any buy-to-let mortgage at the moment, you should be fixing it for a minimum of 5 years. You shouldn't be looking at 2-year fix at the moment because the market is going to keep going up. The deals are going to get more expensive and no one knows for sure when they're going to come down again. So that's what you need to be looking at the moment. Now, buy-to-lets as well, you might get some areas that don't work out so well. So in the southeast of England, it's quite hard to borrow 75% loan to value. So let's just say you bought somewhere in the south. I know you can't, but if you could buy somewhere for £100,000, if all the numbers stack up, the bank will lend you 75 grand on a 100 grand house, right? They'll lend you 75 grand on a 100 grand house. And so that is a great little sum, right? You can do very well. But in London, the rents aren't enough to cover that. So buy-to-let investing and where you could be investing at the moment and throughout these next few difficult few months or years is the northeast, right? In the northeast, I've got a 100 grand property. I make nearly £600 in rent. The numbers just stack up really, really easy and it works very, very well and it will continue to work very, very well. In fact, that property is worth 100, but just to clarify, I bought that for 60 grand. Right, so I bought it for £60,000 and I'm getting £600 rent. So it just really, really works out well, all those numbers. So looking as a buy-to-let investor, I'd be looking at the north for now. You'll get some good yields. If interest rates go up, the numbers will still work. The banks will still lend money against those types of property as well. So I think that could be a good option for you. But I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen in the market? There's a lot going on in the next few weeks, and that's why you should subscribe to this channel and hit the bell if you didn't earlier, because there's so much happening at the moment. There's so much opportunity. If you find good deals, you could really change your life at the moment by getting some solid deals from people that just want out. Do check out all my other videos. Give me a quick like on the video. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. And come and join us in London soon. We're going to be meeting in London. There's a link in the description of this video where you can add yourself on the VIP list to get all the details of that event once that happens. That's it from me. Go and check out the other videos. Here's one right here. Bye for now.